The Black Ops 6 open beta has arrived, and with that comes a new set of players that hadn't experienced the beta during its early access. So you're probably wondering, what does that look like? I honestly thought going into the open beta that the player pool would be much less sweaty, but my god was I wrong. Like, you would think the early access would be one that would be filled with some of the biggest tryhards on the planet. Yet what I learned this time around is that the early access is basically Walmart on a normal weekday, whereas the open beta is Black Friday. You are just opening the door to all sorts of sin.
Oh yeah, you coming with me, daddy. You feel that shit poking your back? That ain't my pistol.
The PDW finally got a nerf, allegedly, which means...
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
I can't believe that Treyarch actually did it. Like, I honestly thought they would just leave it as is, because not only was the PDW miles better than any other weapon in the game, but the Omni Demons need to find a whole new meta to play with, allegedly. Because according to the patch notes Treyarch dropped, the beloved PDW saw some significant nerfs heading into the open beta. Did they actually work? No. Well, yes, but also no. From just jumping into a single game, I found that the player base was either huffing some sweet copium and couldn't bring themselves to part ways with the PDW, or that the PDW was still pretty busted. From running my own experiments, I found that the PDW was, well, still pretty busted. I will be honest, it's not nearly as busted as it once was, but I definitely found that it was still the more superior SMG in its class, though I think a close second was the C9 MP5, which is basically a mobility machine. Quick question, why do meta and setting videos exist during the beta? You know, the ones that are just kind of like, you need to use this Black Ops 6 meta or else you'll be sitting alone at the lunch table. First, you want to make your primary the SVD. Don't throw any attachments on it though, because that's for smooth brains. Also, don't forget to buy the Vault Edition. Make your secondary the Sigma 2B, because there's nothing more alpha than taking out an enemy kill streak. A decoy grenade, and hope the enemy team is dumb enough to fall for it. A blast trap, which, yo, is that a trophy system? Because let's be honest, this is the only trophy Call of Duty players will ever be holding in their life. Perk 1 Ghost, Perk 2 Dispatcher, and Perk 3 Bankroll, with your wild card being Gunfighter, so you can have 8 attachments. With the open beta, we got some new content, such as levels being increased to level 30, that way you can unlock all sorts of rewards that will carry into the main game. We got 2 new weapons, 3 maps, and 1 new playlist. The 2 new weapons are the DM10 and Tonto, and go ahead, ask me what I think of the DM10.
It f***ing sucked!
There's probably a good loadout for this, but for the life of me, I couldn't get past the fact that it's basically a hit marker machine. The Tonto, which is a pretty decent SMG, has a nice controllable rate of fire that makes it great for longer engagements. Unless you're going to be going out there breaking ankles, 9 times out of 10, you're going to end up losing the gunfight to the faster, flashier SMG. One new map is Babylon, which is a smaller, more chaotic map. The spawn system has pretty much sucked in the beta as a whole, but spawning in Babylon sucks 10 times more. Because there are times you just spawn in and it literally looks like this. It's also so bad that I think the spawning might have actually broken Nero Cinema.
Spawn Treyarch! 4 years! 4 years! 4 years! This is why Vonderhaar left!
Honestly, the map is just chaotic fun. Like, spawn system aside, it is by far one of my favorite maps in the beta to play next to Skyline, and it's a great map to cheese with a noob tube on. We got a new playlist called Face Off, which basically takes the 6v6 style of play, but removes kill streaks and forces players onto smaller maps. Personally, I find this to be genius. Not only are the maps just a bunch of shipments in one playlist, but I also found that this is where most of these super Omni Demons resided. Games also felt faster, and leveling up was a breeze. And maybe this is the chaotic evil in me, but I would love to see domination in this mode. There are 2 maps in this mode called Gala and Pit. Gala is by far my favorite of these 2, with there being enough open lines of sight that make snipers, ARs, and LMGs usable. Though I found LMGs could easily dominate this map because walls are basically non-existent. Pit was not my favorite experience because it's a map that puts the Omni movement in the spotlight, highlighting how sweaty this game can get. The spawning on this map though, awful. It puts Babylon to shame. With all that being said, I think I've gotten what I can from this beta, which is why I want to take the time to go over my final thoughts on the beta by telling you the good, the bad, and the general thoughts of things I noticed, would love to see, or things I was just kind of more or less neutral on. The good. Whoever came up with adding the meat shield feature needs a raise. Not only have they created some of the most entertaining gameplay to date, but they've caused my For You page to be full of so much sin that I need to question my own comedic morals.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, Sean, I've been watching you for a minute now. You look very, very pretty. Don't tell your boys about me, but you've been invited to the Diddy party. You're gonna have to sip on this drink and just come with me.
Not even that. It's the fact that this has proximity chat, which makes the feature so much better and so much more hilarious.
I got him! Oh, you wanna kiss each other, huh? You wanna kiss each other? This is what you wanna do? You wanna kiss each other, huh? You like kissing each other? Don't you like doing that? I like each other!
And it's a feature I really hope my newfound favorite bald person, Matt Scrontz, doesn't take away from us. Please, let us just have one nice thing. I promise we won't screw it up like the last time. Hey, by the way, did you know about our Vault Edition? The Gunsmith feels simpler, which is honestly great because the current Gunsmith just has so much. There's also a lot less cons to worry about when creating a build that could wreak havoc on lobbies. It also features that attachment progression that I hated in Modern Warfare 2, but I feel like the attachments they do this with aren't as critical to building a meta. From what I can tell, it seemed as though they had just done this mainly with optic attachments, so hopefully they just keep it that way. Sniping is a blast, with the LR762 being what I see as the next intervention. To me, as someone who has a golden rule of, if I can do it, it must be broken, I just found sniping to be super satisfying, and honestly super easy even if I was a disgusting hardscoper. Add in the fact that this game brings the return of the best play endgame kill cam, and you bet your sweet ass that players are gonna make sure that they're up there at the end of the game.
Play of the game.
Again, adding the playlist Face Off was a brilliant move and might actually help take away some of the crazed demons found in regular playlists. Graphically, I just felt this game popped. Everything just seemed super detailed while also keeping this kind of arcadey feel to it. The final, and this is kind of a stupid good, is the fact that the game knows what it is. Call of Duty, at the end of the day, is nothing but a mindless arcade shooter. I can sit here and bitch about realism all day long, how Call of Duty went from this to being this, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I can appreciate that stuff in the campaign, but when it comes to the multiplayer, it doesn't matter at all, because at its core, these games literally pit players against each other, where you constantly spawn and die while some twerp across the world is screaming racial slurs in your ear. Again, to me, for as much shit as I give the franchise about realism, I can respect Treyarch for seemingly developing a game that just says screw it and has players flopping all over the place like LeBron James, introducing zombie operators or maps that wouldn't even be considered realistic settings for battle. And they seem to own the fact it's ridiculous every step of the way, unlike other developers who seem to be afraid of being considered something fun. The neutral. Omni movement, I'm still 50-50. Is Omni movement broken? Yes, but only in the hands of those I like to refer to as Omni demons. Blink and they appear, they're the ones that have gotten to the next level and play the game as though their entire life depends on it. It can make games extremely unfun. It can also create a skill gap so large that players who may be good at Call of Duty and not the movement system, the planet Venus, and the Omni demons being the Andromeda Galaxy. You'll find a lot of them now that the beta is open, yet the ones that are really good at it that make the games unbearable, when I came across them, I just backed out and took a break from the game. Don't get me wrong, it is a fun system and might create some hilarious clips.
Watch this kill cam. Tyler jumps in front of it. Like
he wasn't aiming for me,
Secret Service! Get down, Mr. President! No!
But I just don't know how I feel. I'm so mixed. I love it for just stupid fun, but I also hate it because of the Omni demons. The thing I don't understand by creating this movement system and trying to make games faster is the increase in requirements to unlock score streaks and the length of matches. For instance, to unlock a UAV, it is at least 7 kills, when in other games it's like 3 or 4, maybe 5 max. By increasing this requirement, you need to then increase the length of games so that players can unlock their streaks, which is the exact opposite of adding things like a faster movement system does. It's like the MLB complaining about the pace of play and decreasing the amount of time pitchers have to pitch in between pitches, while also allowing managers unlimited challenges for balls and strikes. You might be fixing the pace of play, but then you're just making it boring. Maybe consider minimizing requirements for score streaks and matches, and I guarantee people still stick around longer. Perks, I'm still pretty 50-50. I do like that it moved back to the more traditional system, with the menu no longer looking like I'm trying to find a movie to watch. But the idea of specialty perks are something that sounds interesting, yet it could get broken pretty quickly. For instance, pick all blue perks and you get wall hacks. Pick all green perks, you get sit rep and score bonuses. Like, I feel like all the blue perks are just gonna be causing problems. But these do seem to balance out based off your playstyle, so again, it's very 50-50 for me. Noob tubes might be a problem. After using them for about an hour, I noticed that they were pretty easy to use, allowing me to have games like this. Maybe it's nothing, but I wanted to mention in case somehow, someway, Matt Scrontz is seeing this. A feature that I would love to see added is being able to run through my teammates. Like, more often than not, I just found myself running into my teammates or they would just get in my way. I think it's time that Call of Duty maybe added a feature like this, especially in casual play. The bad. Skill-based matchmaking exists.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
It's really bad. The developers can say whatever they want. There is no way skill-based matchmaking is good for everyone. There are more complaints about that than there are the overpriced bundles in the store every year. There was a point where I completed 2 matches where I'd say I did well enough, yet the skill-based matchmaking system thought I was the second coming and threw me into lobbies that looked like this.
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
After that, I took a break. Had a friend that played the beta. One match, they did well enough, and
Go to sleep, go to sleep, go to sleep.
what happened? They uninstalled the game. Point is, it can be that bad. I get it, you want to protect the bad players, but there has to be some sort of middle somewhere. Data be damned. And in a beta of all places, you wouldn't even think you want this there. Give players the illusion maybe that they think they're better than they really are. Don't get me wrong, after goofing around and experimenting with some weapons, at some point it all balanced out, I guess. But something's gotta change. Hackers exist in the beta, which to me is hilarious. Shout out not T Martin, for sending me this clip from Warzone Meta. Having played a few matches, it's clear that there are cheaters in the game, and that's a massive problem, because Activision, since the addition of crossplay, has done a really bad job of finding a way to combat cheaters. Sure, they might have goofy ways to give them karma, but the anti-cheat needs to get better, especially in a beta. It's been 5 fucking years, figure it out. The spawns in the beta have been horrendous. Even with them allegedly being fixed, I still feel like I'm just getting spawn killed constantly. No joke, spawning in Black Ops 6 can be best summarized as that one scene from Jarhead.
You laugh, you die. Scratch your nose, you die. You shift your weight to take a piss, you will die.
Lastly, I noticed ammo boxes replenish noob tubes as long as you had one left. If by some weird reason a developer sees this, I ask that you please look into this and please fix it, because knowing this player base, it'll be something that'll be exploited on launch. Final thoughts. I honestly really enjoyed the beta. Even with all of its faults, it actually made me more excited to play the game come October, and one that I look forward to making content for. I will say it's definitely not a game for everyone. It's definitely going to be a super sweaty experience, and I think if you're someone that values realism, then I recommend saving the money or waiting for the eventual sale. And remember, if you see anyone running any of the Vault Edition stuff, call them names!